Last week I told you a 996 that costs 35 grand actually runs about 75 grand. But here's what nobody's comparing. Is a 997 cheaper to own? What about a 991? Most people assume newer cars cost less to maintain, smaller problems, better engineering. That logic makes sense on paper. But Porsche doesn't work like other cars. And the numbers? They tell a story that'll probably surprise you. Today we're breaking down the actual 5-year ownership cost for each generation, and I'm going to show you which one is the financial trap, which one is the sweet spot, and why your assumptions about age and reliability might be completely backwards.
Understanding the generations. Before we get into numbers, we need to establish what we're actually comparing. The 996 runs from 97 to 2004. Water-cooled, controversial headlights, the car that saved Porsche. We covered the deep dive on this one last week. The 997 launched in 2005 and ran through 2012. It's the refined version of the 996. Better engine, less problematic IMS bearing, generally more reliable overall. The 991 is the newest in our comparison, 2011 to 2019. This is the modern 911. Completely new platform, DFI fuel injection, turbocharged options, all the tech you'd expect from a current-gen car. Now, here's the trap most buyers fall into. They assume newer equals cheaper to maintain. Fewer problems, better materials, superior engineering. And they're right about that. But owning them is a different story entirely. Because newer Porsches are more complicated, more electronics, more specialized parts, more expensive dealer labor, the math doesn't always work in your favor. The reality of 996 ownership. Let's anchor ourselves with the 996 since we already covered the 5-year breakdown in detail in my last video. You're buying in at $35,000. Year 1 brings the IMS bearing replacement, $4,000. Maintenance and inspections run $2 grand. Year 1 total is roughly $40,000 to $43,000. From year 2 through 5, you're looking at $2,000 to $3,000 annually in regular maintenance. Oil changes, brake pads, the occasional coolant system work. Tires hit around year 3, $1,500. Fuel premiums average $7,200 over 5 years since you're running premium the entire time. Total 5-year cost, $75,000 to $80,000. The 996 is predictable. You know the problems, you know the costs. There aren't many surprises hiding in the engine bay. What you see is what you get. The 997. The 997 is where things get interesting. Acquisition cost is higher than the 996. You're looking at $45,000 to $55,000 for a solid example with decent mileage. That's a $10,000 to $20,000 premium right out of the gate. Here's where people get excited though.
Yes.
The IMS bearing situation improves significantly. Early 997s still use the single-row bearing, but even then, the failure rate is lower than 996 models. By the mid-cycle refresh in 2009, Porsche switched to a better bearing design entirely. Some models don't have the issue at all. So if you're buying a 997 from 2009 or later, you're potentially eliminating that $4,000 replacement cost completely. That's a meaningful savings right there. But here's where the 997 gets expensive. It's more complicated than the 996. More electronics, more sensors, more things to fail. When something goes wrong, dealer labor is higher because the diagnostics are more involved. Annual maintenance runs $3,000 to $4,000 for regular service. That's $1,000 to $2,000 more than a 996. Tires are pricier. You're looking at $2,000 per set instead of $1,500. Brake work costs more. Electrical issues, when they arise, cost more to diagnose. Over 5 years, maintenance alone hits $15,000 to $20,000. Add fuel premiums. 997s drink premium like the 996, and you're at $8,500 in fuel costs. Total 5-year cost, $100,000 to $110,000. So you paid more up front, and you're paying more annually. The supposed reliability improvement hasn't translated into cheaper ownership.
The 991 surprise. This is where the numbers get wild. A nice 991, recent enough to have the latest features, low enough mileage to feel safe, runs $60,000 to $75,000. You're paying $20,000 to $40,000 more than a 996 on acquisition alone. The 991 is genuinely reliable. No IMS bearing nonsense, modern engineering, better build quality across the board. The first thing buyers notice is how well it's constructed compared to older generations. And then they get the first service bill.
Annual maintenance on a 991 ranges from 4 to 6,000. Not because something's broken, just because you're keeping it serviced properly. Dealer labor is premium. Porsche techs cost more. Diagnostics on modern systems are expensive. Oil changes alone run $300 to $400 at a dealership, double what you'd pay on a 996. Scheduled services are more frequent and more involved. Brake fluid service is pricier. Spark plug replacement, which is straightforward on older cars, requires more labor because of engine bay complexity. Tires cost the same as 997, around $2,000 per set. Fuel is premium only, though 991s with turbocharged engines are actually more efficient than you'd expect. Here's the thing though, 991s don't have the major failures that plague older generations. You're not replacing an IMS bearing. You're not dealing with cylinder cracking or rear main seal leaks. Your repair costs are predictable and contained. 5-year maintenance, $20,000 to $25,000. Fuel premiums, $7,000 to $8,000. Tires, $2,000. Total 5-year cost, $110,000 to $125,000. You paid the most up front. Your annual bills are the highest, but your risk profile is the lowest. The verdict. So which one costs more to own? Technically, it's the 991, then the 997, then the 996. But that answer is incomplete. The 996 is the cheapest total cost of ownership if you know the maintenance schedule and don't panic when problems appear. You're buying a known quantity. The surprises are minimal because every 996 has the same issues. The 997 sits in the worst position. You're paying a premium for supposedly improved reliability, but you're not actually getting cheaper maintenance. It's the middle child nobody asked for. If you're between these two, the 996 is the smarter financial move. The 991 costs the most, but, and this matters, you know exactly what you're getting. No hidden failures, no catastrophic surprises. Your risk is eliminated in exchange for higher labor costs. The surprise nobody expects is this. A 991 owner might actually have better peace of mind than a 996 owner, even though they're spending more money. That's worth something. If you're budget conscious and mechanically minded, the 996 is still the play. If you want predictability and don't mind spending, the 991 makes sense. The 997? Honestly, it occupies a weird middle ground where you get the expense of both without the clear advantages of either. This is exactly the kind of analysis you need before buying any Porsche. Not just sticker price, not just performance numbers. Real-world ownership economics. That's what the 996 ownership blueprint does. It breaks down every cost, every decision point, every trade-off so you're not guessing. It's designed so you make decisions from a position of strength. Link in the description if you want the complete framework for evaluating which generation makes sense for your situation.
Next week, we're diving into why the 997 is getting overlooked by collectors and why that's creating an incredible opportunity for smart buyers. Thanks for watching. I'm Dean Racer. Know the car before you own the car. I'll see you next time.